At the beginning of the film, a virus is shown. This virus spread through the air between people. The name of this virus was Reaper virus. Whoever got this infection, the infected individual had a high fever. Then that person died due to excessive blood vomiting. To avoid this virus, the Scottish Army constructs a wall in front of the locals, so that the virus cannot spread to other nations. Now, a nationwide lockdown had been implemented. This virus also begins to infect uninfected individuals. They had no alternative options. The military officers were stationed along the perimeter of the wall. Anyone who previously fled the country, he was then executed by the soldiers. After this, a woman who had her daughter is displayed. This woman approaches the helicopter while carrying her daughter. However, this woman was not infected. She requests that the soldiers transport her daughter. Then one officer makes the little girl seat in the helicopter, getting off. Then the infected people attack this helicopter. Meanwhile, that lady and the officer who were stopping those people, they lose their life, while rest of the soldiers had gone, taking that little girl. Afterwards, Scotland country's inner area is shown, where the people were killing each other because of having no law. Neither those people could leave the country nor they were secure in their country. Scotland had started to be destroyed completely. After it, 20-35 years shown. The people were survived in the Scotland or not. No one had the knowledge about this. All countries' people were considering as that virus was only in the Scotland, and it ended there. But military soldiers encounter some of the people in London on a day, who were infected by Reaper virus. Later, the ultimatum is given again. Lockdown is set in the whole city. London's citizens are isolated. The Prime Minister of that place was so worried for this. It refers that London was going to suffer the circumstances like Scotland. After it, Prime Minister's special attendant shows him some photos to them, coming there. This photo was of the Scotland where they discover some logos. When everyone had left the natives of the Scotland, then they had made a satellite there. It indicated that people are alive there. Someone had found the cure of this virus. Prime Minister commands his secretary to build a team to take the cure from there. They will have to search for Dr. Kane, going there, because there was only Dr. Kane who had attempted to discover the cure of this virus. And it may be possible that he had discovered the cure, but no one had saved him from Scotland. It may happen as he is alive because of that remedy. Now Prime Minister's secretary builds a team. The captain of this team was Eden, and she is the same girl who had been secured in the helicopter by the military officers. Eden comes to the military base and encounters her team members. Her team members included some sergeants, military officers, and the doctors. They go to Scotland, getting in 2 tanks. They had to move into the laboratory of Dr. Kane. They don't observe any human being on the way, but they glimpse animals on the way. After this, they find the laboratory of Dr. Kane. Now 3 team members enter the laboratory while 2 officers stay outside. There was a girl standing outside the tank who was quite silent. Then an armed officer goes to that girl. Seeing her, that girl loses her consciousness as that officer comes to her. That armed officer takes that girl into the tank while lifting, and he informs to his other team members about this girl. They don't get anything in the laboratory. When they all were returning back from lab, suddenly, some people assault them, appearing there. They were killing them. Armed officers also make a counter-attack there, but they were in large numbering and so threatening. Military officers are not able to face them. When the unconscious girl in the tank comes into the consciousness, then she begins to kill all the officers. In the end, those people had captured Eden and the doctor. Something mysterious was being felt, seeing all of them. They all were cannibals. They were looking tribesmen because of their appearance, but they were so menacing. It is told about these people. When their food ended after being quarantined, they begin to eat the flesh of one another. In the same way, their kids also tuned into the cannibals like them. There was also a chief of all these cannibals. He was being told by Dr. Kane that the outside world has ended, but he had a belief that there is great world outside. He says when he glimpsed Eden that I will make my partners assure that there is a great world outside. After this, the chief of the cannibals burned the doctor alive who was with Eden. Then they start eating the body of that man. On the other side, someone comes to serve the food to Eden. Then Eden grabs the key from him after entrapping him in her words, and she herself is released from there. She moves forward, killing the guards. Then she again encounters a prisoner girl on the way. That female prisoner says to her, "Release me. From here, I will lead you to Dr. Kane." That chief's friend arrives there as she was releasing that girl, and she attacks Eden. Arriving there, Eden kills that girl after fighting and removing her throat. At last, Eden had made that girl free. They both flee, taking their important things from there. Eden calls her partners to nearby station through her Bluetooth. The chief of those people had known this as his friend has been killed by Eden, and she herself had also escaped from there. He chases them, taking his group members. They also encounter those partners of Eden who were called to the station by Eden. Eden had reached the station there, and the female prisoner who was with her, she meets with one of her partners there. She immediately says to him, "Start the train." Those both partners of Eden had also reached the train while running, but their one doctor was still far behind. Eden began to kill the cannibals there while coming outside. Finally, she gets in the train after being survived. Eden and her partners had escaped from those cannibals as being survivors. The female prisoner tells her story to Eden on the way. She tells, "I am the sibling of the chief of the cannibals. Our father is not anyone else but Dr. Kane. Dr. Kane wanted to keep us according to his own wish, but my brother named Soul became the chief of the cannibals. He built his own army as he fled. He built such savage army who were unaware with the name of mercy." On the other side, virus was spreading in London day by day. All citizens had gone upset in London. There, all great businessmen and politicians were attempting to leave this city. Then some infected people attack Prime Minister's building. When these infected people are killed, then the drop of one infected person pours on Prime Minister. That Prime Minister had also been infected now, so he isolates all the people associated with him, and he himself fires his gun at him, and he loses his life. Because he knew if he survived, then whole team will be devoted to save his life. Prime Minister's particular person holds his seat after his death. Eden and her partners are moving ahead in Scotland while passing through the forest. Then some soldiers appear there, riding on the horses. It was appearing as they belonged to the old times. They capture all of them and bring them into an ancient fortress. The head of them was not other person but Dr. Kane, who had enslaved all the people of that place, and he had ordered all to live according to the old traditions. All are brought to Dr. Kane where Eden tells him the cause of arriving here. That Reaper virus had also started to spread in London. When it came into knowledge that people are alive in Scotland, and they have got remedy, so she has come here to take the cure of that virus. Dr. Kane tells, "I knew that we will be kept under observation. This is the reason that I built my fortress far. My people are living here peacefully. You should not have come here back, because your government left all of you for dying." Eden was trying to explain Dr. Kane. "Dr. Kane, you are a doctor and it is your duty that you may save the lives of your patients. Provide us the cure. We will never return here back." Dr. Kane says while smirking, "I have no cure. The natives have themselves make their immunity strong. Now that virus cannot harm us." They all put them into the prison, capturing them. Dr. Kane comes to Eden at the same night, and he asks her about the outside world. Then Eden tells that the world is the same as you saw before, but it is little advanced as compared to this time. Next day, they are punished like old days, in which if Eden will defeat their warriors, then Eden's remaining partners' lives will be spared. Eden was being defeated from this warrior. That Eden's some partners kill some of the soldiers inside, and they run away, collecting their material. They explode the fortress, setting an explosive there, and they also accompany Eden there, riding some of the horses. They cross a distance on the horses. Then they glimpse a bunker of military ahead. They lock the door, entering that bunker, so Kane's members may not get access to them. Eden finds a sport car and some satellite phones from that bunker. They fill the car with fuel. Then Eden's one of the partner was coming outside to unlock bunker. Then Dr. Kane's soldiers instantly kill him there. Later, she escapes while making that female prisoner and her partner in the car. Then she also contacts with her substitute prime minister on the way and tells her location. In the meantime, Soul and his members attack Eden's car all of a sudden, and they surround her car. Soul begins to hit Eden, entering in her car. But Eden pushes Soul out of her car. But Soul again comes on the car of Eden again, and he starts assaulting her. Eden observes a parked bus on the way. Eden crashes her car in this. There is a great explosion. As a result, Sol is beheaded. Sol's men had also stopped chasing them. The substitute of Prime Minister comes to meet Eden in the helicopter later. Then Eden shows him that female prisoner and his friend. She informs that we can invent the cure with their blood. It will take some time. That man also tells Eden the extent of the spreading of virus will increase the demand of this cure, and the people will spend money for this. Eden was smelling the threat from that man Michael's intentions. So it was the reason that she had activated the secret camera before. Now, Eden forbids them to accompany them, because she was still sensing the truth in the words of Dr. Kane. The government only keeps eye on its advantage. After this, Eden goes from there. She begins to search for the house of her mother, and she comes to her home. She weeps a lot, casting a glance